Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Denise. Today I'm going to paint another piece inspired by my wonky circles, wonky concentric circles, but instead of doing round, I'm going to do oval. And so I've just taped down a piece of the 9x12 Hahnemuhle watercolor paper cold press because that's one of my favorite papers. So when it went on sale, I stocked up and then hopefully I got enough paper to last me through a year or two of YouTube videos. I don't know. I bought a couple pads of paper. They were like $17 a pad. I think they've gone up, and with the tariffs and stuff, I'm sure that's probably going to go up some more because those are manufactured overseas, maybe Germany. So we'll see. I don't know. I stocked up a little on that paper. I'm going to start with a Color Cube Color Palette 414 from Color Cube Volume 2 by Sarah Renee Clark. And I link all my favorites on my favorites page on my website. So I share that link below the video so you can check out all this fun stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is work with my Masha's watercolors because I like the way that these work on this. And I have picked out Storm for that dark purpley color, Ultramarine Purple for that medium color. I've got Peach for that kind of medium pink color. I got Dragon's Blood for that darker reddish color. And then Shadow Green Dark for that green because I thought that would be pretty. So we'll just see how these work out. And I've got my Princeton Neptune 1/2" oval wash because with these I like the wonkiness of that kind of cat tongue shape. And I'm gonna do a little bit of water there. I want to have plenty. These are really thirsty watercolors and they show up wonderfully, but I really want to make them do something special. And I think I'm gonna, weirdly enough, start with the green and just let that kind of be my center because this green granulates and does wonky funky stuff, and then we'll do some wonky ovally circles outside of that. And I don't mind if they kind of blend and flow as I'm going because it adds to the overall look of this that I'm going for. And I'm kind of twirling the brush a little bit. They're going to mix maybe even more so than I intend as I'm going. And I'm trying to also leave some white space even if I'm not being very good about doing that as I'm going. Look what that looks like. Looks like the center of a watermelon. With the watermelon right around it. So many of these concentric circle ones look like eyeballs. And now we're moving on to some kind of wonky fruity ones. Where we went with that. Oh my gosh, you guys are nuts. The last concentric circle ones I did recently, which might not be so recent by the time this video posts since I work ahead, looked like cinnamon rolls. And I loved how many people made that comment, like, those look like some yummy cinnamon rolls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they sure do. So that's funny. We're all thinking of some food as we're apparently painting. Now I'm just adding in some extra rings and shapes here to give us just some interest in that, since I've got so many blending together. Just have to see what we get. Let's see if I look up. Do I have anything doing something weird? Maybe this needs some more water in there to separate those out a little. Sometimes when I'm looking this way filming, I can't tell what everything's actually really doing until I look up into the camera screen or pause it to let it dry so that I can actually look at what the different layers are doing, standing back a tiny bit. Alright, totally different than the other piece. Let's let this dry and I'll be right back. Alright, we're dry. You know what I wish I had gotten out of this, so I might do some more of these. Not today, but I'm just saying. I really love how on this one I've got some real distinct colors and circles and stops and starts of the color where they stop and give you very distinct lines. Here I've managed to blend them in more than I really intended. And it doesn't matter how many times I paint stuff, it's different every time I do it, no matter what my intention is. And I like the bold lines that I did in that original piece. So I'm just going to take my Blackwing Matte pencil, which is very similar to my other favorite pencil, which is the Pitt Matte Graphite 14B. It's very similar to this. But out of the two, this one has turned into my very, very fave. And it's there's like a good, I can see like a good reason why it's a favorite for people that love to draw. And while I don't love to draw, I do love in abstract pieces to mark make, which I know is technically drawing, but it's not drawing stuff. Like, I'm not drawing actual identifiable things. I like it more in an abstract mark making kind of way. Because I've just decided after, you know, all these years of doing art and art classes when I was younger and in college and being a drafter, that I just can't stand to draw stuff. And I did plenty of classes where we had to draw things, and I just don't like it. I like color and pattern and texture, which is probably why in the first 11 years of this creative business, I focused on making textures to add into your photography, because I love photography too. I'm still a bit burned out on photography, so I'm glad I switched more into mixed media and art things. But yeah, I like the texture part of that, and so I don't think I could have made as many texture collections as I created if I didn't have like a true love for pattern and color and texture, to the point of I probably made 100,000 textures, literally. Like, you gotta love it to make a business out of it and keep it up as long as I did. But now I'm glad that this is what I do as my little creative job, because with the rise of AI, I've seen a dramatic plunge in the amount of people taking up the hobby of photography, and that could be because it's an expensive hobby anyway. But I've also seen a dramatic plunge in the people wanting to buy digital assets. When, you know, things like Midjourney can create something similar as something you could buy, why would people buy it? Or a lot of people see the stuff AI is creating and then just give up. They're like, why bother? This is going to replace all people and stuff. But I think with art, especially the art like you and I do here, painting, AI can't take that away from us. Because I think, especially like Gen X and older, we still want to do stuff with our hands. We don't want to be stuck on a computer 24/7. This younger generation that's basically born with an iPad in their hand, I don't know that they'll know how to do things with their hands when they get to the point that they are wanting to have, you know, hobbies and things. And so I hope I go in this direction with the things that I want to do and the interests that I have, and I hope that, you know, AI can't take that away from us, because it's kind of like with the job market, you know, let's put some circles in here. You know, AI can't take away a plumber's job. It can take away a computer IT job in a second. So like the jobs that people need to be getting now are those ones that AI just can't do. Your plumbers, your electricians, the maintenance, the things that yard work, the things that might be considered traditionally blue collar jobs. But you know what? Plumbers get rich. That's the people that make all the money. Nobody wants to do the plumbing stuff, but my dad was plumbing, and that was like the joke in our household was every time there was a sewer backup, he'd be the first one right down in there. He'd have to come home and shed his clothes at the door. They'd be so disgusting. But that's kind of where we're going. You're either going to be like a worker with a job that AI just can't do, or you're going to be a gig worker with trying to figure out, you know, what job can you make up for yourself because all of the other jobs have just gone away. And even in my business, you know, I've done everything myself this whole time. Website building, computer stuff, behind the scenes, email, social media marketing, all that stuff. I've always done it myself because early on I just couldn't afford to hire anybody. And then after that, I can do it faster and the way I want to do it than somebody else I take on part-time can do it, I guess. I don't know. I'm one of those people. But now there are aspects of my business that say like ChatGPT can help me with that I wasn't going to hire out anyway, like social media marketing or helping reply to comments or YouTube videos and discussion descriptions that speed up a whole lot of the processes that I was always just fumbling through myself, that I can see how advantageous it is for companies to go that route versus hire people, because it has taken tasks for me that usually take days to get everything ironed out and perfected and all that stuff. Now I can do some of those tasks in like a day or half a day. So days worth of work have turned into half a day's worth of work. And so I can definitely see the benefits. Let's do some Neocolor II crayons and add some layers that I wish I had. So I can definitely see the benefit of how AI is going to help out, especially small businesses, but I also see the writing on the wall. It's going to take away from jobs and stuff for everybody else, because now one person can, with the help of AI, do the job of like maybe 10 people. Look at this. This is totally pulling it back together for me. Okay, there's the pink. I'm still kind of looking at my card, trying to stick within my color palette, trying to keep myself focused right into what I want to do. See, that's another thing about the color cards. I mean, it kind of relieves that color anxiety that I get. Let's do this one. That color anxiety that I get picking colors, because I like too many things. That's the problem. I like them all. But it also helps rein me back in when I start thinking, what about this random color that then is like, oh no, that was a mistake. Yeah, no, you know what I mean. You've seen me do it. I'll pick something crazy and random. Okay, I love that. Those were good choices. Okay, so I also want to do, you know, you saw this coming. I know you did. Gold! We're gonna do the Kuretake gold mica paste, which I take a pipette to put that into this bottle. Makes it super easy, and then I just shake it up and use them. Get the right thing off of here. But yeah, I'm hoping like for the next decade I'll be able to maintain a good creative business by switching to something that I feel like AI can't take away from me. And I don't want people to get discouraged and just stop creating altogether. Most of the reason, totally ran into that. Move that water out of the way. Made like a, got into my rhythm there. Yeah, I don't want people to get discouraged and not create. Like my good friend that does photography and was in a lot of galleries has just kind of given up. She's like, why bother? AI just ruined everything for us. And I hate that she feels that way, and she's moving in other directions, and she's a little bit of a gypsy anyway. She's all over, like the little magpie. Like she's like, ooh, this shiny thing, let's do that for a couple years, and then ooh, this shiny thing, let's do that for a couple years. But I liked it when she was in her photo art season, because that's what I like to talk about the most. And even though I'm definitely supportive of every other direction that she goes, some of the stuff she talks about now, I'm just like, blah. Let's go back and talk about art. But she's one of those people that looked at the AI stuff and thought, okay, I'm giving up, why bother? And I know a lot of people are going to do that, but with the art, this I need for my own mental health. And so I hope that we don't just give it up, because if we enjoy it, don't let AI take that joy away from us. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. That was kind of crazy tangent, wasn't it? Sorry. I guess that's what was on my mind because I just talked to that friend yesterday. You know, another thing too that's a little bit scary, but I saw this funny meme on Facebook saying, you people better start eating better because all these kids are now using ChatGPT to graduate med school. And I thought, wow, that'd be funny if it weren't kind of true. And I went to the allergy doctor just after I'd seen that, or I had been there just before I'd seen that, I think. And it kind of really honed in for me how this is going to change and affect our lives. And yeah, it can help you get to diagnosis and things faster, but it also sometimes lies. And so that's what I worry about, is doctors not even knowing where to look and check and decide if things lie. So anyway, I was at the allergy doctor because I'm apparently allergic to all the trees and the grasses and the pollens and the cats and the dogs, and I'm just allergic to everything, apparently. And I was asking about the side effects of Zyrtec, because there's this weird, rare side effect of when you try to stop taking the antihistamines, that somehow they broke your histamine maker in your body. So when you try to stop taking them, and your body produces tons and tons and tons of extra histamine, and you get severe itching. And I don't know, I'm one of these rare people that gets the severe itching to the point where like you can't even function. Everything itches. It moves around your body. It's like playing whack-a-mole. You can't just cover it up with some chamomile lotion or anything because it doesn't quite work that way. Okay, I'm loving this. Look at that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This one's so good. So yeah, we're like talking about the side effects that of that, and how maybe I can wean off of the Zyrtec and stuff. And he whipped out his phone, and I kid you not, ask ChatGPT. And I was like, and we kind of laughed about it because I love ChatGPT too. I know there's plenty of anti people out there, so don't come for me in the comments. And he asked ChatGPT about it and read out what ChatGPT said. And that was like his answer. And I'm like, and this was an older doctor. He's not like just out of med school or nothing. It's not like he was using ChatGPT to get through his classes and essays and things like that. And I was like thinking, wow, this really is like the future of the medical industry. And I hope that we don't get like false diagnoses and stuff because our doctors don't know where to even go to find out the correct answers, or be able to at least double check or whatever. I'm kind of worried for humanity here. And I kind of worry too that it's going to make us all dumber because it's so smart we don't have to learn anything. So I kind of like that. I had to learn everything the hard way, and now I use it to supplement things that I would already be doing, and so the ideas are already mine. It's not coming up with the ideas and the things that I want to do. But I don't know that the generation after us is going to have that. Okay, I feel like we're missing something in the middle. So I think I need to get those crayons and maybe define the middle a little bit. That's what I feel like it needs. A little definition in there. I'm just going to pull them all in because now I've done it. Okay, look at that. Okay, so I'm also kind of thinking, what do you think? Do we want any little white dots? Because right now I love, 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 love the gold dots, which I did like a little partial gold dot here, a little partial gold dot there, so it's not like completely filling in the circle, but look how delightful that is. So do we need any white? Do we need any white? Or do we have enough white? Oh, you know what? Oh my goodness. Look at all the white I've left not marked up. Okay, let's try the gold. Finish marking up the white. Why did you let me like get sidetracked and not finish my lines in there? Let's dry the gold before I smear it with my hands. Alright, I hope I got there. I'm going to try to not smear anything. I think when I did those circles I got sidetracked and didn't come back and finish out my lines. I like that about these other pieces, that all these white spaces that we left have mark making in them. And you don't have to do lines like I'm doing. Like you could do something like this and do whatever your favorite marks are. I've just decided as I'm doing that this is my favorite. And so I want to go back in and complete the circles here. Okay, I think we did it this time. Did we get them all filled back in? I think we did. Okay, let's peel the tape and see what we got, because then I think the reason why I left such a big border is to do a deckled edge. So I did leave myself a large enough edge, and I did think that going too big was just overwhelming. Yeah. I like to paint small. Some people like to paint big. My best friend that I talk to every week that has a creative side business kind of like I do, except hers is in the texture part of it, but she's dabbled in the art stuff too because she's an artist also. She loves to do gigantic, and so I'm just like, I just don't get the love of the big. I don't like going big. I like little things. I collect. First thing I ever collected was little tiny boxes, and so I tend to like little treasures apparently. So that's what I enjoy. So that's what you see a lot of what I do here, is because that's what I like. Look at how beautiful this is. Let's deckle that edge and finish that off. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This one is so good. Now I want to paint more and more of these. You can tell I get on little kicks. And even though I spread these videos out, you can kind of tell if I painted them in a similar time frame. Because I just get on kicks of things I'm obsessed with, and then I'll take a little break because I'm far enough ahead in my videos. And then you'll see whatever the next kick is. And so you've seen several different things that I have been obsessed with, like handmade art journals, and then concentric circles, and anything having to do with Gustav Klimt. It's like you can just kind of tell what direction my mind is in at any given time based on the videos that pop up. And right now, concentric circles in whatever form I want to make them, that's what seems to be exciting me lately with my art. So this is my dual edge ripper. It is my favorite rip ruler. I've got several different types of rip rulers. I've got some metal ones that are basically a weapon that I don't like. And after all the years, because this was my first one that I got, after all the years, it's still my very favorite. So now it's the one you'll see me grab for all the time, every time. And I'm not trying to be perfect, and I wasn't measuring out where I wanted to cut those, so it's not perfect. It's imperfect, which is what I love. So the dual edge ripper is on my favorites page if you want to check that out on my website. Look how gorgeous this is. All right, this is so beautiful. This was a great paint day. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys next time.